p.m. in New York City. My name is Michael, and I'm here on behalf of Syncopated City. Of course, I've got Evita with me as well. She's on the keyboards. So very excited today because a dear friend of ours will be joining me. And I'm really excited we have so many things that we can potentially talk about. So who knows where that's going to take us. I don't want to delay much more, so I'm going to say without further ado, please welcome the lovely Moe Sakan. Oh, Mo!
Hey! Good evening to Michael
Hello!
and the European people, the friends, and good afternoon for all the American friends, and good morning to the Japanese friends and the Asian friends. Hello.
Did we get everybody?
Did I cover everybody? I hope so.
I think so.
Yeah, I think I did. I cover Far East, which I came from.
You have from the Far East to the Far West. We're covered.
I cover it. Hello.
Sakan, how you doing?
Good. It's very good. Very. I'm a little bit nervous, I must say. I told you it's like I'm not really a good public speaker. I mean, public speak. It's a weird thing, but
I'm going to tell you two things. Number one, I've got my producer in the background, the lovely Carolina Windlock, and she is saying that your image is upside down. I don't know how you're upside down, but you're upside down. Are you on the iPad?
But I didn't move my iPad. Should I make my iPad upside down? Would it be?
Try it. Let's find out.
Okay,
This is great.
Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, freeze. Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on.
Then I have to change the other angle a little bit.
Good.
So
very exciting.
So did the wrong way here.
Yeah, and everyone's letting me know in the comments, of course, that you are upside down. So hopefully, she's Someone's like, is she down under? No, Ron, she's not down under. She is theoretically. She's with me in London, though she's on the other side of London, so perhaps that's what's happening.
Whoa, what's wrong with the east side?
Nothing's wrong with the east side. All right, you're back on track, people are saying. So, hi, Mo.
Hi, Michael. Hi, friends around the world.
First of all, before we get too much, you said you were nervous. You have nothing to be nervous about because no one watches me anyway. No one cares about me, so it's just you and I having a conversation.
All right, then let's bring it on.
Let's ease those nerves with a toast, shall we?
Yeah, why not? Here we go.
Kanpai.
Otsukaresama desu, kanpai.
That's good. What do you drink? Oh, that's good. I made a good drink. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking plum wine, my handmade plum wine, and plum wine tonic, which is behind me.
You made that plum wine.
I did actually.
What?
I've been rested for at least a good 2 years, I think. It's not botanically proper Japanese plum. It's called the Green Gates. And you can find in a corner shop, and sometimes you can find it on the market. But it's basically the plum.
Huh.
And you put the tons of sugar and 2 liters of vodka. And rest it for 2 years. I mean, maybe up to 6 months, and you can drink it. But that's the plum wine. It's super easy to make.
Do you see bubbles when it's fermenting? No.
Nope.
Oh, so you're just basically infusing the vodka with the plum.
Exactly.
That's amazing. So cool. That's great.
It's pretty strong, so I might get trashed, but hey, that's me.
Hey, it's all right. Thank you, Maria. Maria's saying enjoy your drinks. I think we will.
Thank you. I will definitely do. Cheers, Maria.
So I am, just so we all know, I am drinking, I've made an old-fashioned of sorts with Japanese whiskey in honor of your homeland.
Thank you very much.
I'm drinking the
Yamazakura.
Yeah.
the mountain cherry blossom.
That's right. I was gonna tell you that, but I guess you already know what that means. So
It's
yeah,
written, Michael.
Yama is mountain, right?
Exactly. Whoa!
And Sakura is the cherry blossoms.
Bravo.
Yeah, I do my
And
research.
I like your t-shirts representing my country. Unique.
Oh yeah, this was accidental. Carolina was like, "Did you do that on purpose?" And I was like, "Oh no, but
Hey,
what is this? I don't know."
I think it's the some kind of traditional business flag, I guess. Ulalo, probably the sake brewery.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a sake shirt because Uniqlo had a line of sake graphic tees. So we'll use that to talk about our appropriation later on, of course. That's why I wore it. I actually like the fabric. I bought it because the fabric is really nice. It's that kind of thick t-shirt. Yeah.
40.
Yeah. So, by the way, Mo says, "I love Mo. You look beautiful, Mo."
Oh, thank you. I made an effort. Put some proper makeup. Come on, it's been like 3-4 months, and in the quarantine time, it's like, what do you wear? It's just like t-shirts and track pants and no makeup, and I look like a super hobo. So it's like, it's so nice. Thank you for giving me opportunity, Syncopated City.
to look.
Exactly.
Oh, hey. So now that we got the drink out of the way, who are you?
That's a great question.
What's your story? I mean, I know a little bit, but what's your dancer, professional full-time dancer?
Supposed to be, yes.
No, there was a time pre-corona where you were a full-time professional dancer.
Correct, exactly. I was a professional dancer, instructor, and a performer, yes.
How did that happen? How did you get to be in that
Be a
position?
dancer.
Yeah.
Well, I started dancing from ballet, and I've been like training for a good 10 years, let's say. And like one point I was in the rockabilly scene in Japan. And of course, the rockabilly scene is like does rocking jive, which is kind of, well, basically the Japanese rockabilly scene is model in UK rockabilly scene. So there's a way they dance, or the like music is kind of like based on UK scene, and we dance rocking jive in the Japanese rockabilly scene, and that's how I get into the type of the swing dancing.
Uh-huh. So you started back in Japan,
Yes,
Osaka.
in Osaka.
Uh-huh.
Correct. And as you being in like a 50s rockabilly scene, it's like you're watching like a 50s rock and roll films and like those kind of things, and then you see people dancing. Like sometimes like all the rock and roll legends are playing, and the background dancers doing some kind of like different dance to the rocking jive. And I was like, oh, what is this? It's like, that's kind of cool. Instead of just doing bunny hop all the time, the girls doing like a twist and like more flurry, like, oh, I want to do this dance. So I kind of like start mimicking the type of it. And I found a little group who are also part of the rockabilly scene, but it's a different crowd. Kind of like small groups start doing like Lindy Hop, like small workshop, or like yeah, it's not even a workshop. It's just like a group of people who wants to learn Lindy Hop, and I'm just like join it, and that's how I met Lindy Hop.
Wow. Roughly what year was that when you found Lindy Hop?
It was, I think it was like, was I 17? No, 18. So that means I'm 39 right now.
I was going to say like 5 years ago.
Yes, 5 years ago. But it's, yeah, over 20 years ago, let's say.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Wow, exactly.
So you found Lindy Hop when you were a late teen, probably around the same age and time as me, right around that
Like
late.
No, it's maybe like 99 or 98. No, 98, I think.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So you found Lindy Hop in Osaka. Did you, were there like big workshops that happened in Osaka or even
No.
Tokyo?
I mean, the Japanese swing scene. I mean, still, it's a very small, and even back then, it's like maybe like less than 100 people dance or know the Lindy Hop entire Japan. So when I started in Osaka, it's probably the people kind of like start getting to the Lindy Hop is like 10.
Wow.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
And in Tokyo, it's more numbers, but like it was a very, very small scene. But Frankie came twice in Tokyo. And I was very fortunate to meet him in 98 when he was 86 years old. And there was a Frankie 86 birthday bash held in Tokyo.
Oh,
So,
really?
and yeah, so that was the first time I met Frankie Manning, Chaz Young, Mickey Davison, Jun Marta, if anybody familiar with him, he's Japanese. And he was actually the first, I mean, he was the only Japanese member of the Mamamoo Parks. So yeah, that's how I kind of dive into the Lindy Hop community immediately.
Wait,
That
what was that person's name?
Jun Maruta.
Jun
Or
Maeda.
Jun Maruta. I mean, he doesn't look like typical Japanese, let's say. When I first met him, I thought he was American because
Ah,
he didn't speak to me in Japanese.
uh-huh. Um, wow, and he was one of the Mamamoo Parks dancers.
Yeah,
That's crazy. That's amazing.
I know.
So how long? Okay, so you're in Japan, you're in Osaka learning Lindy Hop. That was just a hobby though. It wasn't like
That was just a pure hobby.
yeah.
And beside of like a professional training of the ballet and the jazz and a different thing, because I really wanted to be a theater actor or like
Right.
musical actress, let's say.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, that was my pure hobby. But somehow
Did-
became a profession.
Wait, were you going to school for all like musical, like acting, singing, dancing?
Yeah. So after graduate the high school in Osaka, I moved to London and I attend to Erding Academy.
Say it again.
Erding Academy.
Erdang Academy.
Erding Academy. Erding. Oh, American English is so easy to mimic.
It's so hard.
Erding Academy. Erding Academy.
There you go. You got it. Okay, and that's so for most of us who don't know what that means, that is it's like in the UK when kids go to college, it's like 18 to 20 usually is the
No, it's more like it depends on the college itself, but like usually the theater college is like from 16 to up to maybe like a 22 or 25 or something. So
okay.
it was a variety of age. I wasn't one of the oldies, but most of the kids was like 16, and yeah, so I just like jumping into the college life in London as a theater school student. That was a good memory.
How like so what was that like? You had never have you ever been to London before that moment?
I have a couple times, and also I tend to attend the summer school of the Arden Academy,
Okay.
and I chat with the principal, which is the Mrs. Arden, and she kind of personally invite me to come into study at her college. So it's just like I would love to, I'm delighted to. So that's why I choose the college.
What
Hmm.
was it like when you got here? What was that like? Because that's a pre-professional program. Like everyone's there to train to get a job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like it was. I mean, I was a little bit of shocked at how the other kids' dance ability was a slightly low than I expected. So I was actually pretty doing good. So I was the first only students of the how'd you say low grade to jump in the higher level the ballet lesson immediately,
Mhm.
and so it was really interesting. Except getting used to the English accent, let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even I still struggle to what.
Especially like 16, like surrounded by the 16 years old kids, and they never met anybody outside of the UK,
Yeah.
so they don't know how to speak to the foreigners. So their speed is very fast,
Right.
accent is very strong. some of the Welsh girls, like I never understand what they said. I just said, yeah, okay, cool. That was the 3 words I just like been surviving in Ireland. That's what I remember.
Wow, that's amazing. Because you spoke English before you got here, but
A little, a little bit.
it's not the same as immersing yourself in the.
No, and also like my high school was a little bit like slightly different to normal Japanese high school. So it's like international high school, and then like have lots of foreign teachers teaching English. It's some of the like classes run by the like in English,
Yeah.
like speaking in English. So it's like I thought I was getting used to the English speaking, but like majority was like more Australian English or like in New Zealand. There's like nothing British. So yeah, I was like, I beg your pardon. That was the thing I'll keep repeating the back in the day.
Yeah. So when you told me at one point when you were there, you met someone who also does Lindy Hop here in London, who's kind of a big deal.
Yes. Are you talking about the Simon Salmon?
Who's that? Tell me about that.
So before that, when I was in Japan and when I'm enjoying the Lindy Hop as a hobby, because like it's a pre-YouTube era, and all the resource we can get is a VHS. Ta-da! I'm sure you are familiar with as well.
So,
And in the like group, we kind of like ordering from the out like abroad and sharing dubbing. Is that what you call it? Like,
yeah,
copy
the
the
VH.
VHS and then like sharing it. And then one of the tape I was always like admired to watch was Frankie was in there, and Chaz and Mickey Davison and Sylvia Sykes and Jonathan Bixby and Simon and Rusty Frank.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. So it's like that, and I'm like only in the video. Remember, I was in the rockabilly scene, so it's everything about like a dress to impress world. So in the video, it's only Simon and Rusty was dressing in vintage. So I was like, oh my god, this is so cute, and I'm like, I love this. And then when I moved to London, in Ireland, there is the evening classes, which is not connected to what we like our the professional students, and the one of the like studio was Simon's classroom. And then when I used to like dancing until like 7 p.m. or something, and then he just like knocked the studio door. He's like, "Hey kids, you need to leave now." So I was like, "Are you Simon Salmon?" And that's how I met him. And I was like, "Oh my God, it's Simon! I've been watching you in video." So yeah, that was cute at that time.
Okay. Simon Summon is, I would say, he's a London institution in the swing scene for sure.
Definitely. And I want like old school.
Yeah, old school for sure. And from my understanding of that moment, that chance moment in a studio, it led to a book deal. Is that true?
Not yet, because like then I start going to the 100 Club, which is the Simons used to running every Monday. It was like the longest running swing dancing club. The 100 Club is called Stomping. So I kind of became like a regular to the event. And in the same time, I injured myself. I overstretching my groin hip on the right side. So I have to stop the full training of the ballet or the any kind of like theater dance basically. So as the rehab, I kind of like more go into social dancing. Then like Simon kind of get like familiar each other at one point, and like he said, "It's like, hey, well, you are trained kids, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I am." And then like he asked me, and I was like, "Would you like to be like my partner to do some performance?" I was like, "Performance? I love to do that." So I just like jumped it on. That's how we kind of like start dancing together. And then, what do you want to say, Michael?
Nothing. I'm listening to a story. Nothing.
Do you want to share something?
I would love to. I would love to share.
Yeah, go on, go on, go on.
So I'm going
But
to, yeah.
this is gonna be my black history, everybody. So yeah, don't judge me for this. Yes.
So I'm gonna show something in just a second. Before I tell the story, Mo, I have to tell you I was informed by Evita because Evita's on the things. Apparently on the site, if you're watching right now, it says ukulele something, which just to clarify for everybody. You are watching a production by Syncopated City, the premier online swing dance school, featuring the lovely Moe Sakan. We share this restream with Simon, Evita's, not Selman, but Evita's husband, Simon, who is a professional guitar player. It's classical, but he also has a ukulele site. So in setting this up somehow, I can't figure out how to change it, but it says ukulele. So if anyone's confused out there, we are not going to teach you how to play ukulele tonight. I'm not. Are you, Mo?
I want to.
Sure. Again, my apologies to everyone out there for the confusion. This is not a ukulele moment, but if you've got one, play it. If you got them, play them. That being said, I had to get some housekeeping out of the way, and I apologize to.
Ah, it's totally fine. Hi, Evita.
Yeah. So here's what happened from my experience, Mo. You and I have known each other for a few years. I don't know. I genuinely don't remember when I first met you because I have a terrible memory. But I do remember that I had met you a few times. We had gone to a couple of the same events finally, and I was like, wow, she's really cool. She's crazy. She can drink, but she's really great. And so I knew of you in that sense. I could, like, if we saw each other, we would be friendly. That's how well we knew each other at the moment when Evita and I were teaching somewhere in the South, in the United States.
Right.
And our host, they were hosting us in someone's home. And the host it was the Saturday evening, we had come home from classes. Evita and I were not staying in the same room. Well, we weren't in the same room, maybe not even in the same house. I don't remember. But I remember the host coming into my bedroom as I was getting ready for the Saturday night dance, and he showed me a book. And he was really excited about this book. He was like, and I looked at it, and I was like, oh my. I was like, it was horrifying, but it was amazing. And I must have known you better than what I described because I took a picture and I sent you a message. And I said, Mo, you have some splaining to do. Like, and this, I'm going to share this with everybody. This is the cover of a book that was shown to me. It's called Dancing. And as you see, there's several different, and I knew of Simon Selman as well because I had those same VHS tapes. But I was like, what are those two doing on a book cover? This is crazy.
Yeah, totally. And if you could pinch it up out, you could see the middle of the picture. I still want to complain about the designer who did the book cover.
Yeah.
Why did they choose that picture? And if you close up and look, and on my face and on my eyes is just half open like this, it is just horrible. Yeah, look at this on the far left. It's doing perfect frog jump.
Yep, look at that.
I have a perfect pristine smile. Boom.
Yep.
In the center.
Yeah, it's this moment right there that I just.
I'm not pregnant, by the way.
mid frog jump. I'm pregnant.
Mid-frog jump, exactly, and it's a wake up Moe Sakan face. That's terrible.
So good. That's so good.
Jeez.
So yeah.
I knew you were gonna pull this up.
Oh, it's so yeah. So
by the way, they didn't give me a credit for this. So
really,
I used to no. If you check the book, says Simon Selman.
Yeah.
And in the picture, next to him, I just smiled like this, but nothing, no name credit. So I used to say this, hey Mo, I found this. It's no, that's my twin sister. It's not me.
It's not me.
It's not me, yeah.
Wow. Did you get paid?
I get paid. Actually, it was a really good, thingy. and I was really happy. But I didn't even. This is the thing. I wasn't really educated to be a professional dancer. I didn't finish the courses, so I wasn't trained to be making money. Let's say.
Right.
So it was a good deal, like amount to get paid, but yeah, I didn't nail it down basically. But it's okay. It's a experience. Everybody make a mistake. I mean, I won't say it's a mistake, but yeah.
We all have those growing moments where we're like, yeah, I could have done that better.
Exactly, exactly. I'm sure it's like any like dancer who danced more than 20 years have kind of like similar experience or history, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know any books that I know of, but yeah, you know.
Actually, it's like I haven't met you, but my mom went to see you and Evita in Osaka.
Ah, did she introduce herself to us? She must have.
No, no, she just like went to see it. Like,
That's
didn't you
amazing.
guys like came to Japan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was us. No, yeah. It,
Cause I remember like I was like chatting with my mom in an international phone call that time, and she told me that she went to see a show. It's called Swing. I was like, well, mom, and I really wanted to see it. That was on the Broadway, blah blah blah. And like, oh, there's a main couple. It was so cute, and like a tiny girl and like a tall guy, and like super handsome.
yeah,
They
yeah,
did the amazing
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
The throwing things and like she was like, oh wow, that's nice. And then I think she still had the brochure, so I'm gonna dig it out for you.
Oh my God, I would love. That's amazing. Oh yeah, yeah. That was. We were in Osaka for 1 week. We had done. We were there for like 5.5 weeks total. We had 3 weeks in Tokyo, 1 week in Nagoya, and then 1 week in Osaka.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the end. And I remember the only thing I remember about Osaka is the fact that everyone rides their bicycles on the sidewalk, which made me so angry.
Well, that's Osaka.
Here
It's
we
a rough city.
Tough city, guys.
It's my hood.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Watch out for the bicycle gangs.
Oh yeah, totally.
No, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you have a book deal, even though you never graduated. I'm just gonna do this because I can. There's no rhyme or reason to this, but I'm gonna share another moment, but it's gonna be a video. So,
Wait, it's not the Herang video, right?
nay, nay. I don't know what that means, but you're gonna think about what that story is. No, I'm gonna share. You had a lovely moment with my mentor, Evita's my mentor, Ryan, doing a TED Talk.
At the Royal Albert Hall, yes.
Tell me about that.
So that was, basically like Ryan was invited to have like a chat for the TED Talk, and his idea was to have a dancers on the side, and I think it was the talk theme was the Lindy Hop and internet or the internet communication or something like this. Like
Mhm.
you can check it out on the YouTube. And the first dancer that he contacted is Remy Kwaku Kwame. And that time I was dancing with him, and like so both of us, and also Tony Jackson and Irene, I forgot her surname, but like it's a Greek girl, but who also moved to Sweden.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there was like 4 dancers, and we supposed to represent Savoy style, and yes.
People look. No. Go.
And Tony and Irene is supposed to represent the Hollywood style.
Let's take a look.
Yes.
Teen, just so you know, Teen. Hi, Teen. You're with us. Irene Ragustini.
Ragustini, that's the one. She's got the Italian surname, yes.
Yeah. All right. I want to show just a little clip, not the whole thing, because you know it can go on for a long time. All right. Wow.
I still remember
Wow.
we set the choreograph, of course. That
Oh,
as
I
you can
want two
see,
more. Hold on. Just give me a second.
that's okay.
Oh, yeah. I know what I did.
The Lindy Hop
Oh.
became known as the Jitterbug.
Cool. All right. So
Okay, you didn't let me to
I
go.
turned off. Yeah. I turned off the music in case there are copyright issues. I was like, I don't want YouTube coming after me. But yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, and I still remember. Obviously, we set the choreograph for this routine, and
Yeah.
after like two swing out, I had a moment of the brain fart. It's like, oh, I forgot. So it's like I forgot to go into the circle. So I completely go like wrong direction, and then Remy just like, where are you going? If you check the other video again, you could see the moment Remy just like, what are you doing, Mo? That moment is that every time I watch it and it make me feel cringe. It's like, so yeah. And also he had a worst hairstyle ever, so I had to say this.
I'm not one to judge that right now, so I'm not.
No,
gonna...
me neither. But as he's my dear friend and I love him dearly. But I think the hairstyle was a kind of.
It was a choice.
Yes.
Just imagine this moment with that hairstyle when he was growing it out. Side note, when he came to New York one time, I don't know, he was there for something. And so he called me up and he was like, hey, Michael, I've got tickets to this live show. If you want to come, like, we can go see this live show. And I was like, sure. And he was saying what the name of the show was, but because of the accent, I couldn't understand what he was saying. But I was like, yeah, sounds great. So whatever. So we go, because one of his friends was a producer for the show. So I was like, yeah. So we go in the morning to the West Side in Midtown, and I'm like, where are we? We're waiting in line, and that's where I find out we're waiting in line to go see The View. Do you know what The View is?
Mm-mm.
Right. It is a daytime talk show that features 4 to 5 women as the panelists, where they talk about the topics of the day. It's very popular with housewives, super popular. And so it was me and Remy and a whole bevy of like women who were visiting New York. Most of them were between like 30 and 60, and they were super excited. And Remy like had his crazy like little mini fro, glasses.
Gray fro, yeah.
Yeah, it's super gray, makes him look way older than he is. And he was wearing like this super cute cardigan, and I probably looked fabulous as well. And I was like, Remy, what are we doing here? Like, And we got heckled when you go to the taping, before all the stars come out, there's a warm-up act who just comes out and tells some jokes and, gets the crowd kind of the energy up. And he picked us out right away. He was like, look at this lovely couple. And we were like, that hair has special meaning. We loved it. We were laughing the whole time. Anyway, yeah. So that was back to the topic. So that was you have a TED Talk now along with the book deal. That's amazing.
I can't remember when was that. Probably 2014,
2013. Well, it was posted on October 2013 to YouTube. I don't know if that was when it was.
Probably like around the time as I think so. Yeah, 13.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
7 years ago.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Yes, exactly. Wrinkles.
So because you were partnering Remy for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but then you also, I would say, to me, your main partner has been kind of Vincenzo. Is that true?
It is, but the start dancing with Vincenzo is actually after Remy. So Remy start partnering with the different people,
Yep.
and then also in the same time as I start dancing with Vincenzo. And even when I was dancing with Remy, I will say that like I've been like a professional assistant or the pinch hitter, like follower, let's say. So I used to have like 10 probably different leaders to teach with or work with.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we never had like we always been like a really good friend, but we never had like a solid partnership, let's say. But like we always been good friend, love party, drinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard. I've
Good
heard.
old days.
Um, and yeah, so that's kind of how I associate. Like when I think of you, I'm like, well, for me, I don't think of you as partnering Simon, but I do think of you as having partnered Remy, really, because you guys put some really great routines together. And then with Vincenzo, like there's some really great stuff that you guys put out there. I don't have those clips pulled up, so I'm not going to surprise you with them, but I would recommend to anyone watching, definitely check out Moe on YouTube because you've got some great stuff out there.
Thank
Fabulous dancing, but also you'll always look great too.
Thank you. We both of us, both of us are definitely like a biggest peacock in the Lindy Hop community. I would say it's like dress to impress. It's like we love dressing up, so it's just like, are we too much? It's like, no, it's cool. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's us.
So yeah, I can see why you would miss that part of our lives in the times of COVID where you don't get to dress up as much.
Well, it's good for my skin, definitely. Like first thing first is like I don't put the too much heavy makeup, so it's like it's kind of healthy, and stop buying trashy clothes. So it's good for my
Yeah.
finance, and also maybe the economy. Not supporting the fast fashion. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's good. It's still positive.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah, we all.
yo.
How has your time in lockdown been?
It's been it's been strange. I guess this is like for everybody as well.
Mhm.
So I had the last gig in Madrid in end of March, no, in the mid March actually. Then and then like the day I left Madrid, and the next day was the lockdown happened in Madrid.
Ah,
Yeah. And like managed to came back to London, and maybe the week later is the UK lockdown happened, and a week after, like suddenly I got like high fever. Just so you know, I hardly get any cold or disease or anything. I didn't even catch the cold last year. So I'm super, super duper healthy person. Even I smoke and drink a hell of a lot. Uh, yeah, exactly. Proud. Thank you for my mom and dad. And and yeah, so some kind of mysterious high fevers is continue for maybe more than a week
mhm.
with the heavy headache. And I just like start questioning myself. It's like, is it or is it not? So that and like after the high fever, and then I suddenly noticed I completely lost my sense of smells and taste.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm kind of like 90% presuming it was a corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. So, by the way, Jamie McHugh says hello. We met Jamie when we were teaching out in Bristol.
Ooh, yeah.
So Jamie says hello and hi, Jamie, and
Hi,
thank you.
Jamie.
Yeah, March 23rd was UK lockdown. You and I taught my last gig, which was with you, was in
Yeah.
Ljubljana, right? Jordana, by the way, says, "Oh, seeing the two of you together brings me back to Ljubljana and the last carefree pre-Corona festival. Love to you both." Thanks,
Oh,
Jordana.
love to you.
Yeah, it's but that was the last gig that I did, which was the end of February, I think, and then
Yeah.
shortly after that, Caroline and I went to Australia. But I was still texting you, and I remember the time where you messaged me and you're like, "Yeah, I don't feel so good." And I was like, "Oh, well, I hope you're okay." And then like a day later, you're like, "Now I can't taste or smell anything." And I was like, "Mo, you got that COVID."
Yep. But I'm still not sure. So hopefully, I think it's next week. I'm gonna have an antibody test and find out either I got it or not. But even without like the results, please don't treat me like a virus. Well, if I have like antibody, hey, you can give me a hug.
I, well, I won't, but not because of that.
Okay. All right then, Mike.
No, of course I would. No, I think I remember when you sent that, and I was like, "Oh my God, she's got COVID!" Like I was terrified for you. But then I was like, Mo is like, you are the indestructible dancer. Like, you do smoke all the time, you drink heavily, and you're just like, here I go. We throw aerials and brats together, and there's a couple of times you've, not because I've dropped you,
No, that was my fault.
but you gotta.
No, that was my fault because we had the we having the premier performance dance troupe in London. It's called the Brat Pack,
Cool.
and we are the proud coach for our babies. And we used to have occasional aerial sessions because at the gym with the sprung floor. So at the time, I think we were doing the popover, right?
Yeah, just yeah.
Exactly. So it's and we've been doing kind of baby one, and I landed pretty safe with a crash mat, and let's do it without a crash mat, and I was so hyped, and I'm Michael, throw me, and the moment it was perfect timing, and I think I never reached that high, and I see the completely different world. I was like, whoa, and my leg was completely in front of me, and I forgot to bring my both legs underneath my body, and what I did land on my hip, and I go ding like this.
It just teeth clack. Yeah.
So that happens. So it's not your fault. It's my fault because I was enjoying the view.
Oh, just hey.
Hey.
It was a sprung floor. But I remember you literally, you bounced off your ass and then you popped right up, and I was like, oh my God. And you're like, oh, good. I'm like, how are you indestructible? She is. Oh, amazing. Yes, so the Brat Pack, yes, we were, yeah. And Teen, who was with us last week and is in the thing, she's a part of Brat Pack. And she says, that was scary. I know, Teen.
Yeah, I know. The most scary for me is that I hear the click, 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 click of the spine noise. Yeah. So, it was oh, shoot. So, yeah, I made an appointment for the physio next day, and, went to see my physio. It was totally fine. Now it's fixed.
Indestructible, everyone. I'm telling you. Sophie's saying hello as well. What
Hey, Sophie.
Right. So okay. In the times of COVID, you probably had COVID, and you're going to find out next week whether or not that's the truth.
I'll definitely let you know.
Please do. I would love to know. So we've been running Brat Pack kind of on Zoom, as not every other, but a lot of instructors are trying to use and utilize just online lessons, which never feels like it's never going to replace the actual thing, but it's the best that we've got for the moment. And we've been really good about being able to do that every week, and it's been really great to have a smaller group of the Brat Pack that stays with us through these times.
Which is with the help of you and Evita, and giving the platform for Brat Pack to do some work at the Syncopated City, so people.
Not the ukulele site, just to be clear. We don't sell ukuleles.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what you've been doing something else during this time, and I wonder if you'd be willing to share any of that, because it's been really interesting. I'll set it up by saying a lot of us in the swing community, a lot of our peers have been having some really difficult and challenging conversations with our friends, our family, with our peers about the culture of swing dancing and appropriation and race relations in general. And I would have to imagine that the same is true for you.
Definitely. So I'm actually part of a Japanese swing dance organization, and we have occasionally have a meeting to chat about how we want to run. It's a kind of pretty new idea, and after during the lockdown, I have more time, so I can actually have a discussion with these people, and just chatting about a general thing, and then I just question is hey, it's there's something happening outside. It's I'm sure you guys seen it, Black Lives Matter. What do you think about? So, and then their response, it just really shocked me. Just their response was pretty. How do I say this not to offend anybody? But basically, just I'm really shocked how basically they didn't react. Like what they said is like, we don't know anything about this. It's like, I saw this. It's a terrible thing happens, but it's not our problem.
Mm.
And as a Japanese, so this is also I have to mention about this as a Japanese, like talking about politics or discrimination in public, it's kind of like we see a little bit taboo.
Ah.
Yeah, so it's like if anybody like speaking super loud on the politics or like racial issues, people see you are immediately some dodgy activist.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
So
wow.
yeah, it's a really odd thing, and then like that's the part that I'm not really proud of it. So their response to me is just like, I don't know. And then I thought it's like, hey, hang on a minute, it's like you dance Lindy Hop, like you love swing dancing and you love jazz, and you don't think it's not connected. It's like, and they're just like, and one guy that actually said to me, they said, well, we don't need the ideology to dance. It's like, I was like, I disagree.
Yeah.
So I was boiled and I was so mad about their reaction, and I couldn't sleep, and I probably a week, and then I couldn't able to eat. I don't know what to do, and I'm just like trying to figure out what I want to do, and it's like how I can let them understand is that the Lindy Hop or the swing dance in general is rooted to Black American culture. So then after the week, and then I just like, okay, this could be a good motivation for me. I have a plenty of time. It's like I don't have a gig until maybe next year, so I can dedicate this time to re-educating myself, of course, and educating my people. And of course, like they been hiring me several times, like last 10 years as an instructor, and I felt the responsibility. It's like I've been teaching some sort of like Lindy Hop, and they enjoy it, but they never actually respect the where the root is, and possibly it's my responsibility. I didn't pass that, even I have a little bit of knowledge, and also like a little bit of knowledge of the history of the Black Americans. So yeah, that's what I've been working on, talking to them like pretty much every week.
Yeah.
And finally, I made I gathered all the Japanese instructors and event organizers in one group, and then I start like kind of creating a little community, because Japan swing scene is it's not really united, let's say.
Yeah. Okay.
So I thought it's a great opportunity to gather together and then make them understand what is a community is, instead of just being, I don't know, independent schools.
Right.
And I wanted to make them gather and like make the safe space to everybody to talk. And I told them a million times that it's okay to not know this, but
Right.
as I invite you here, you need to know this, and I would love to help you, and let's educate all together, all that ourselves. So yes, this is the my thing in the last it's been a month.
That's amazing. That is, I can't imagine what it must be like to try to carry the weight of a nation like on your shoulders in terms of like in terms of tackling this kind of thing. You know, I know it's what it sounds like. You're like, I speak for like I have to speak to all my Japanese people about this.
But like numbers is not that many. Let's be honest. It's like maybe like less than 20 people.
Okay.
So, which is quite a handful, and then like I love communicating with people as well, so it's really good. And it like to working on to let them understand it's definitely help who I am as a Japanese and what my country is. And like that's actually really helped me to understanding the BLM movement as well, because like for me it's like, for my understanding, it's like as Japanese we also have a privilege. So we also have a racial issue, which is the native Japanese people and us, the new people, and we kind of segregate the natives also, we also have a caste systems, which is created in 200 years ago.
Okay.
In Osaka is actually the particular city have a lot of community of casted. Is it caste is the word? Am I saying right? Yeah, casted communities. So I grew up and like next, let's say that like 500 meters is actually like the bottom of the caste. How do you say?
Society or
Area. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
One of my best friends is the Korean Japanese. So it's like lots of history behind of it. So it's like for me, it's like talking about the discrimination is normal. Even it's a bit weird thing, weird subject to talk. But yeah, I guess it's like other people is a little bit difficult.
Wow. That's yeah. Wow. It's so interesting because you know the like we all consume things from well, not all of us, but definitely like I know that like the hip hop scene in Japan is really strong as well, and it's got to be a similar kind of conversation of consuming something that is completely outside of your culture and being attracted to it for certain things, but not necessarily having to know where it comes from or why it is what it is.
Even you know, or even you have a knowledge about a history or the background of the dancers, like Japan, like let's say cultural appropriation is a very very vague term, and like for us Japanese, it's so hard to understand because as the historical background, also our culture is like taking from outside and bring something new. Even kimono or the tea or the rice, it's like it's not from us. It's actually from outside, and we recreate it and reproduce it as Japanese. So it's like taking culture from outside is normal thing. That's the like we don't have any guilt about it. Like we actually proud of it. Like because hey, Toyota and all the Japanese car or the Japanese whiskey is like we produce something better. So it's like that's exactly. Thank you. Hey, we should get sponsor, huh?
We should get point. Huh.
So yeah, that part is like the most difficult thing I think to let the people to understand, which I'm not stepping in yet because like basically I have to talk like starting with the what's the race, what's the discrimination, what's the prejudice. It's like this prejudice and discrimination is slightly different. And one of the article I read and like really really resonate me is Japanese don't have a sense of racism, but they have a presumption.
Yes.
Presumption. So it's like, and like that word is like, this is it because like we don't have a guilt. But we have a subtle racism, and like some people like super loudly saying it's like we don't judge people. They're like no, but come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even like some kind of like some of the Japanese words is a very very offensive, let's say. It's like if I'm sure you might have it, gaijin.
Yeah.
Yeah, gaijin. So it's like we say gaikokujin means foreigner.
Okay.
So gaikokujin, shorted. So most of the Japanese people think it's like gaijin is a shorter version of a gaikokujin. But gaijin itself is like established words means like super negative meaning of immigrants or outside. So saying that words, even just saying it, it's just like saying you are not belong to us.
Yeah.
You are from us. So I think it's a typical small island mentality.
Right. I remember when we were there for the show, we met some Americans who were performers. I think at like Tokyo Disney, or Universal. But we met performers for both because, you know, performers always find each other in different cities. And I was talking to one of the Americans about, because they'd been in Japan for a few years on different contracts. And I was like, I was having the best, like, it was amazing for me, the best time of my life because we were being paid to do a show where you get up at like, you know, you get up at like whenever noon or later, you go do your show in the evening. You get paid, then you go back to the hotel, super fancy hotel. Like everything about it was amazing. And so I said to this performer, it must be like, how great would it be to live here? And he said, well, here's the thing. Oh, and at the end of the shows, like they would wait out backstage for us, all the audience, and they would have gifts for you. And they would know our performance schedule better than we knew it. So they would know when to come, and like it was amazing. And this other performer said, well, as long as they perceive you as a visitor, they are so warm and open. But if you once you declare that you're living there and you are establishing yourself, that warmth does not continue.
Exactly. You got you got a point. Yes.
And I was like,
Yes,
oh,
that's about right. And unfortunately, I'm not proud of it, but I have to admit about this, which that doesn't mean is that I'll do it, but like there's a yeah, because this is actually the problem is that people don't understand the microaggressions, and I don't know, it's a new thing, new term for me is that the racial gaslighting, like those two things, like and also the privilege they don't actually acknowledge about it, so they don't think it doesn't really intentionally like bad meaning from them, but it's like it's actually like yeah ended up in treating somebody as wrong. I have to say.
yeah.
So I wanted to educate. I mean, I'm not even like educate everybody. It's impossible, but like at least somebody who I care for, someone is like who loves swing dancing and Lindy Hop, and of course my friends. And I even had a lot of talk with my mom and my dad about this, and yeah, it's a challenge, and definitely, especially my parents' generation is also more, but like it's yeah, they even admit it's like yeah, we do, and it's like that's great. It's like you recognize it, so it's like let's fix this. It's like
Right.
yeah, that's why I wanted to challenge them. It's like they said it's like well we're too old to fix this. It's like no, I don't think so. It's like because my mom especially she loves studying and learning like new things, so it's like hey mom, you're still able to, I mean she's 70 something, but like she recently got the PhD and she loves challenging and studying. It's like she just did you just did this, so it's like why can't you? So she was like yeah that's right. It's like yes mommy.
Wow, well done.
I
That's a
know
victory. That's
I
true.
know. So it's like, yeah, I'm just like, I think it's a very uncomfortable subject to talk about it, especially people who are not comfortable to talk. But I think at least I understand how I can wrap the subject
Yep.
instead of just giving a knife. I can wrap it nicely and I
Yep.
give it to them.
Yep.
Instead of stabbing, I can
Yeah,
give it like a
yeah.
present.
I
So
understand the metaphor. I like that. Yeah, it's good.
yeah, it's a weird metaphor, I know.
No, no,
That's
no.
Japanese, so
That's-
you know.
Well, I don't think you can see it in front of you, but I am seeing some of the comments, and a lot of people are giving you love for the work that you're doing. So, so they, yeah, it's no, it really is. It's really, it's hard for all of us in our own ways, and I can only imagine how difficult it must be for you to take something that is really challenging and then literally translate it, because you have to translate a lot of what the words mean in a way that to people who also are like have their own shit going on.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like translating to language is a difficult. I never pulled the dictionary so many times
Yeah.
ever in my life.
Right.
So yeah, another thing is also the how to translate in me to different like to somebody else is the most difficult thing I experience. I'll have to say it's like filter me. So it's like every time I'm trying to learn something new and then I try to understand, it's like I have to project myself. It's like have I experienced this or have I did this? So it's like find like lots of mistake I made, and like finding myself is like not helping, but like finding myself is the greatest thing. I thought it's like I just wanted to take at least something positive out
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, because
Oh,
it's like everybody can make a mistake, but like at least you know it you notice and fix it is the greatest thing.
Yeah,
I
that's
have to say.
great. Yeah. Oh, Mo.
Yeah, because it's like also like watching the discussion on the internet. It's quite heartbroken sometimes. Because yeah, the nuance of the language, it's so difficult if it's just the word.
Right.
Like if I talk to you like this, you can feel my nuance or the tone of my voice. But if it's just written, just like sometimes it's just like so rude.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the person who wrote it didn't mean anything. So
Yeah. You don't
kind of
get
like
that nuance.
yeah, those kind of like a misunderstanding is it's sometimes it's very difficult, but it's good, and I believe everybody's doing the best and with the love. So I want to respect both sides. Of
Yeah.
course, I want to be on the right side of especially the racial issue.
Yeah.
But at least I have a respect for someone who I want to tell something to make them understand is the most important thing. That's what I believe.
No, that's true. I think like the willingness for us to engage in these difficult conversations with people, um, not all the time, but I think you're right. If you're willing to kind of have these hard conversations, it shows some level of care for for the cause, but also for the person, because you want to find that understanding, that common ground.
Absolutely, because it's
Versus-
easy to say that I go out go get away,
Yeah.
but it's more difficult or the challenging to say that hey, I got you, but let me explain. It's like I want to understand, but like I disagree.
Yeah.
It really depends like how you're gonna wrap it, right? Wrap it
Wrap
up.
Don't
Put
stab.
it up.
Don't stab.
Don't stab. Give it to them.
Yeah. Present it in a nice, yeah. Oh, well, that's great. I'm really, that's really, it's really positive to hear that you're spending your time with such an endeavor. So,
Yeah, and it's like
they're very happy to have you.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a slow step and a like small step, but like I believe it's a forward step.
Yeah.
Not the rock step. Oh, maybe a rock step is not bad actually, as long as it's not back step. Let's say.
All right, you swing nerd. That deserves another drink. If you have some, have some. I'm gonna pour myself something. Is Mo? We've talked about so much. We're at an hour. We don't have to end it, but we don't have to keep going. Is there anything else that we feel we should know about you and or your life?
No, that's gonna be require another hour. So I'm happy to cut it. Like, but I miss fine dancing. I miss people. I miss social. Yeah, like seeing people's smiles, and of course I miss dancing. But like I miss people. So it'll be nice to see everybody somewhere someday.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
Kampai, Mo.
Kampai. Thank you very much.
What do you do? What is that shot?
Joe, what is it? Petron, the coffee liqueur.
Oh my God, salud.
Salud. Cheers.
Well, everybody, I think we're going to call it because it's been such a lovely time, and going any longer would just make it boring. No, it's never boring with Mo. Mo, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Syncopated City. Thank you, Evita and Simon.
For all the latest in ukulele news and happenings, please visit Mo. No, I'm just kidding. I'm an idiot because I can't figure out how to take the ukulele thing off our sign. I apologize wholeheartedly. But if you're interested in ukulele, you can certainly check out Simon's site, because it's a baby guitar and it travels easily now that you're going anywhere in your life. Other than that, yes, Syncopated City, great plug, Mo. We do have lessons. We do have podcasts. We have blog posts. There's all sorts of things on the website. What am I reading? I'm reading something. What? We have a book club as well. Did you know that, Mo? I started a book club.
You mentioned it, but I didn't get a chance to check the forum, actually. I should, because I have a lot of homework from my friends.
I know, we're all doing a lot of homework. I will say we're almost done with this first book, but that's okay. We're going to do a new book next month, probably starting next week. So I'll make that
So
announcement.
you guys renewing the book every month or like every 2 months?
I think every month. I feel like 1 month is long enough to read. It's not like it's not Tolkien, or it's not a Game of Thrones book, so it's not that thick. Whatever we're reading, and I'm mixing it up between like swing and jazz history, and then like some sort of cultural awareness book to try to get myself woke, or at least more aware of the current topics. But I'll let you know for next month what it is. It might be that. Oh, my producer Carolina is giving me a book. I have an extra copy of this book. It's called The New Jim Crow. It's about mass incarceration. And I will say that I'm going to do this as a giveaway. So if you join the book club next month, I'll choose one random lucky winner, and I'll give an extra copy of this book to them. So there's that.
Can I register that too?
I may give that copy to Mo. But that
I
shouldn't
think
be
that's
awful.
the book. Like that's actually the other one on my book list as well. So it's which was recommended by my friend. So yes.
Well, I may know someone who has an extra copy, Mo. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Go get on with your bad self. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Mo. Thank you, everyone who's joined us.
Thank you
Evita,
very much.
thank you so much.
お疲れ様で
お疲れ
す。
様でした。お疲れ様でした。Bye.